Have you ever reached a point in life where the only thing you wanted was to stop? Not a project, not a bad phase. Stop everything. Stop fighting, stop believing, stop hoping. Because the pain was too great and the answers were too far away. If you've ever felt this way, or are feeling it now, this video is for you. Today, we're going to talk about something that many people carry in silence, that feeling that God has forgotten you. That your prayers are hitting the ceiling and returning unanswered. That while everyone around you is moving forward, you seem to be standing still, or worse, regressing. But before you give up, I need to tell you something. There's a biblical truth saved for the end of this video that can completely change how you see everything you're experiencing right now. Don't skip ahead. There's no point in going straight to the end. Every part of this journey was prepared so that you arrive there ready. Stay with me, because God's plans are perfect, even when your life doesn't seem to be. There's a moment that almost everyone has experienced. You wake up in the morning and, before you've even fully opened your eyes, that weight is already there, in your chest. Heavy, silent, persistent. It's not drama. It's not weakness. It's life. With all its closed doors, crumbling plans, broken relationships, dreams that seemed certain and simply didn't come true. You did what you thought was right. You prayed, you waited, you trusted, and even so the answer didn't come. Or it came differently than you expected, and that hurts in a way that's hard to even explain. Faith in God during difficult times isn't just a nice phrase when you're in the middle of a storm. It's a real challenge. Because when everything goes wrong at once, financially, emotionally, within your family, your mind starts asking frightening questions. Does God really care about me? Have I made so many mistakes that there's no going back? Is this how my story ends? But here's something important. The fact that you're asking these questions doesn't mean you've lost faith. It means you're still fighting. People who have truly given up don't ask anymore. They just leave, and you're still here. The Bible does not ignore this pain. Psalm 34:18 states with heartbreaking clarity, "The Lord is close to the brokenhearted and saves the crushed in spirit." This means that God is not distant precisely when you feel most alone. He is near, closer than the pain you feel. And perhaps, just perhaps, what seems like your worst moment is exactly where He chose to appear. What if the silence you're hearing isn't abandonment, but preparation? There is something that no one prepares you to face in the Christian life. It's not persecution. It's not doubt. It's silence. That silence that follows a fervent prayer and nothing. No sign. No clear answer. Only the echo of your own words returning to you. And then your heart begins to waver. Is God listening to me? Is there something wrong with me? No. God's silence is not absence. It never was. And the story of a man named Abraham proves this in a way that will leave you breathless. Abraham was 75 years old when God appeared and made a promise that defied all human logic. Leave everything you know, leave your land, your family, your security, and go to a place I will show you. No GPS, no map, no visible guarantee, only the word of God. And Abraham went. That alone would be enough to admire. But the story doesn't end there. Because along with the calling came an even greater promise. You will be the father of a great nation. Your descendants will be countless, like the stars in the sky and like the sand of the sea. A beautiful promise, impossible and apparently forgotten. The years went by. 10 years, 20 years. His wife Sarah grew old. Her womb remained closed. And God, silence. No children, no visible sign that that promise still stood. Abraham was human like you and me. The Bible doesn't hide that. There were moments of doubt, of attempts to solve things on his own, of impatience with God's timing. But there's a verse in Romans 4:20 that says something extraordinary about him. He did not waver in unbelief regarding God's promise, but was strengthened in faith. It wasn't a perfect path. It was a path of true faith, with stumbles, with waiting, with long nights gazing at the sky and asking, "Sir, until when?" And then, when Abraham was 100 years old and Sarah 90, when biology said it was impossible, when the world would say it was too late, Isaac was born, the son of the promise, the smile that God placed in the arms of a couple who had waited a lifetime. All that silence was not abandonment. It was God preparing a miracle that could only happen in his time. Because if Isaac had been born to Abraham at 30, he would have been just one son. Being born at 100, it was a declaration. Only God can do that. How can you trust God in difficult times? Perhaps the answer lies precisely here. It's not about trusting because you understand. It's about trusting because you know the character of the one who promised. God never fails. Delay is not a negative. Silence is not abandonment. And what seems impossible to your eyes may be exactly the ground where God is about to do the impossible. There's a plan you haven't seen yet, and it's much bigger than you imagine. You know what's frustrating about faith? It's that it asks you to trust a script you haven't read yet. You're in the middle of the story, not at the end. And when we're in the middle, with the pain still fresh, with unanswered questions, with accumulated fatigue, it's almost impossible to see the whole picture. It's like trying to understand a painting by looking only at a corner of the canvas. You see a dark spot and think, how ugly, but the painter sees the whole picture, and that dark spot is precisely what gives depth and beauty to the work. God is the painter, and you are the artwork. Jeremiah 29:11 is one of the best-known verses in the Bible, but be careful not to let familiarity rob it of its weight. "For I know the plans I have for you," declares the Lord, "plans to prosper you and not to harm you, plans to give you hope and a future." This verse was written for a people in exile, people who had lost their land, their temple, their freedom, people who had every human reason to give up. And it was precisely to these people that God said, "I have a plan." He didn't have one for everyone who was doing well. He had one for those who were down on their luck. God's purpose in life doesn't always appear in a clear and linear way. Sometimes it reveals itself through detours, losses, and new beginnings that you would never choose. But each of these moments has a function. The difficulty you are experiencing now is not a mistake in God's plan. It may be exactly the chapter that will prepare you for what is to come. No experience is wasted in God's hands, not the pain, not the waiting, not the tears in the early morning. Think of it this way. A musician spends years practicing in silence before going on stage. An athlete endures grueling training that no one sees before crossing the finish line. The preparation never seems glorious on the inside, but it's absolutely necessary. And perhaps what you're calling a bad phase is actually your most intense preparation, the soil being plowed before sowing, the winter that precedes spring. God has a purpose for your life, not despite what you've been through, but through it all. And when you look back one day, you'll understand every point that seems disconnected today. You'll see how everything fell into place. You'll recognize God's hand in the places where you swore He wasn't. But to get there, you'll need something that few have the courage to choose. To keep going when everything makes sense isn't faith. It's comfort. True faith appears when you have no answers, no proof, no certainty about the next step, and yet you choose not to give up. That's what separates those who weather the storm from those who drown in it. It's not talent, it's not luck. It's a spiritual decision made repeatedly, every day, sometimes every hour. I will continue. The Bible is full of people who remained confused. Noah built an ark without ever having seen rain. The Israelites marched around Jericho for 7 days, without weapons, without visible military strategy, only obedience. David was anointed king while still young, but waited years of persecution before sitting on the throne. None of them fully understood what God was doing, but they all made the same choice, to persevere, and that choice changed everything. Faith to not give up is not a feeling you wait for. It's a stance you take before the feeling appears. There will be days when you won't feel faith, you won't feel hope, you won't feel God's presence in a tangible way. And it is precisely on those days that the decision to persevere carries more weight than any intense emotional experience. Hebrews 11:1 says, "Faith is the assurance of what we hope for and the conviction of things not seen, proof of the invisible." That's what it's all about. Before we continue, I want to take a quick break here. If this message is touching your heart, please subscribe to the channel. It's free and will help you receive more content like this. And if you are being edified, leave a like. This greatly helps this channel reach more people who need to hear this today. Now, let's continue, because the best is yet to come. Don't give up. This isn't empty motivational advice. It's spiritual instruction. Because the enemy of your faith doesn't need to destroy you. He just needs to convince you to stop one step before the turning point. And how many stories of giving up are exactly that? Someone who stopped when they were one step away from the answer. You don't know where your turning point is, but God knows, and He's asking you to keep going. The Christian message of perseverance isn't about being strong all the time. It's about getting up every time. It's about reaching the end of the day exhausted but still on your knees. It's about saying, "I don't understand, but I trust." And discovering that this phrase, spoken with sincerity, has more power than any human certainty. Because God's timing is about to reveal what today seems lost forever. There is a huge difference between delay and negative. When God doesn't answer in His time, the human tendency is to conclude that the answer is no. But often, far more often than we realize, silence simply means not yet. I'm still preparing, I'm still aligning, I'm still working on what you can't see. God acts at the right time, always, without exception, and His timing rarely coincides with our calendar, but it always arrives at the exact moment it needs to arrive. Think of Lazarus. Jesus received news that his friend was ill, and he stayed where he was for 2 more days. 2 days. From a human perspective, it was an incomprehensible delay. Mary and Martha, Lazarus' sisters, were heartbroken. When Jesus finally arrived, Lazarus had already been buried for 4 days. And Martha said something that many of us have felt, "Sir, if you had been here, my brother would not have died." John 11:21. A phrase laden with pain, incomplete faith, and incomprehension in the face of silence. But Jesus did not come to heal a sick person. He came to resurrect a dead man. The delay was not negligence. It was so that the glory of God might be manifested in a way that a simple healing could never reveal. Verses about God's plans remind us of this repeatedly. Isaiah 40:31 says, "But those who hope in the Lord will renew their strength. They will soar on wings like eagles. They will run and not grow weary. They will walk and not be faint." Waiting is not passivity. It is renewal. It is the process by which God replenishes what the journey has consumed. And those who learn to wait on the Lord don't just come out with the answer. They come out transformed. Hope in difficult times with God is not an illusion. It is the certainty anchored in who He is. Look at your own life and try to remember a situation that seemed hopeless and that somehow resolved itself, perhaps differently than you wanted. Perhaps at a time you wouldn't have chosen, but it resolved itself. God has been faithful before, and the God who was faithful yesterday is the same today. He does not change. Malachi 3:6 is clear, "I, the Lord, do not change." What seems lost today may be exactly what God is about to restore. The dream you buried may be the Lazarus of your story, waiting for the moment when Jesus will arrive and say, "Until." Don't give up on what God has planted in your heart, because His time is coming, and when it comes, you will understand each day of waiting. The story isn't over yet, and the best chapter is being written right now. We've reached the end of this video, but not the end of its story, and this is the most important truth you need to take away from here. Your story is still being written. The last chapter hasn't been closed yet. And God, the author of life, the creator of all that exists, is holding the pen. This means that no situation you are experiencing today has the power to write the final period without His permission. None. Don't give up. God has a plan. This isn't just a postcard phrase. It's a profound theological statement about the nature of God. He is sovereign. He is eternal. He sees the end from the beginning. And if He has allowed you to get this far, with all your pain, all your doubts, all your weariness, it's because He knows you still have a destiny to fulfill, a mission only you can accomplish, a story only you can live. Trusting in God's plans is the bravest decision a human being can make, because it means relinquishing control. It's saying, Lord, I don't understand, but I trust. It's choosing faith when logic tells you to give up. And do you know what happens to those who make that choice? Romans 8:28 answers with one of the most solid promises in all of Scripture. We know that in all things God works for the good of those who love Him, who have been called according to His purpose. All things, not just the good things, not just the easy things, all of them, the pain, the loss, the waiting, the failure, all being used by God to build something you can't fully see yet. This is the revelation I promised at the beginning of this video. It's not a formula. It's not a step-by-step guide. It's a simple and revolutionary truth. You don't need to understand God's plan to be a part of it. You just need to keep going. Keep praying when it seems useless. Keep believing when it seems impossible. Keep walking when the road seems dark. Because God is in the dark too, working, preparing, aligning every detail of your story with a precision that the human mind cannot achieve. A message of hope in God is not for those who have everything figured out. It's for those who are in the midst of the struggle and choose, even so, not to let go of God's hand. If you've made it this far, this is your sign. Don't give up. Dawn is closer than you imagine. And one day, maybe not today, but one day, you will look back and say with tears in your eyes and a smile on your face, it was worth the wait. For I, the Lord, am your God, who holds your right hand and says to you, do not fear, I will help you. Isaiah 41:13. Don't give up. Your ending is still being written, and God is an author who never disappoints. If this video touched your heart, I want to make a simple request. Share it. Send it to that person you know needs to hear this today. That friend who's at their breaking point. That family member who's about to give up. Sometimes a message of hope in God arrives exactly when someone needs it most, and it could be through you. Leave your comment below. Tell me, which part of this video touched your heart the most? I'm here to read every message, and if you haven't subscribed to the channel yet, do it now. This is where we talk about faith, purpose, and how to trust God in difficult times with honesty, depth, and real hope. God has a plan for your life. He acts at the right time. God's plans are perfect, even when our lives don't seem to be. And you who have watched this far have already taken the first step, not giving up. May God bless you. See you in the next video.